All right, everyone. This is Zero Budget Geek, and welcome to Havenfall. I am with the designer of this game, Joe Izquierdo, and we're gonna be learning this game. And this is going up on Kickstarter very soon, right?
Yes. Yep,
Do-
we just spoke with our manufacturer and just getting some numbers in place.
Awesome, awesome. So, Joe, go ahead and I'm gonna let you take the reins. Go ahead and tell us about this game.
All right, I guess I can just jump right into the story real quick for you. Let me move some decks out of the way so you can get a full view of the game board. Outside of these little pixels, this is the southern lands of Adonia. And the Djiran have opened up a rift here on the board, and it started corrupting all the land and inhabitants of Adonia. But it doesn't affect humans because you need that little 8-bit story where something doesn't quite make sense and you gotta keep it simple.
Right.
So the very first place it wiped out was the town of Ember, and that's where we're all from.
Okay.
And what we did was we just grabbed what we could and we fled the town, and that is everybody's deck of cards. So we're just going to have some simple basic stuff because we're not from a big town, it's just a small little village.
Right.
And we immediately fled and headed through the mountains as it was the quickest way to escape. And we got to the Crown Gates and immediately went to the city of Havenfall and informed the council of what was going on. So they're having us meet in their war rooms and discuss with the leaders what we had seen out there, what monsters are affected and what's going on and how we can stop it. So they're going to have us go out to these different towns like Fire's Descent, Trin Creek, and Woodpine, and go out and hire these heroes to help us push back the invasion and figure out how to close the rift.
Okay. Now, right off the bat, is this a cooperative or competitive game?
This is a competitive game. There is some PvP elements in there. You can also gang up on people. That really only happens with people that want to do that, but it's really the preference of the player.
Okay.
And the overall goal is there will be, I can just kind of place, this is the monster deck, and there will be monsters coming out of here that are shuffled. I already shuffled it up for us. And as these monsters come out, anytime one is defeated, let's say this one was defeated, you collect pixels off of their bodies. So kill a blue monster, get a blue pixel. And that acts as mana that you can use every turn to boost the cards that you've been buying.
Okay.
And that's the main mechanic of the game, are these pixels. Is throughout, as this is a deck builder game, that's the main point of it, and it has its own unique mechanic of these pixels.
Okay.
And you can see these two are Minion 1 and Minion 2, whereas this is a boss. Boss is the main thing of you actually have to battle the higher numbers, but whenever you defeat a boss, whatever rank it is how many points that player moves up.
Okay.
So you kill a rank 2 boss, you go up 2 points, and the first to 10 is the winner.
Okay.
And they range from rank... Oh, sure, go ahead.
Can any monster be a boss?
Yes. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
If this one was to be defeated, this is demoted down to a minion now. And then
Okay.
the next monster would come out as a boss.
Oh, okay.
So you never know what's going to be the boss, but you always know what will become weaker.
Okay.
And I can go ahead and start setting up the board, and it's pretty easy for setup, is you just kind of look at what is marked on there. So most of this is all solid decks of the same card, so all the silver go there.
So we got gold, silver.
And then these sets here, there are 18 different heroes in the game. There's 2 extra ones, but they're unique characters to try and get, or unique heroes. And you can do any mix and match, you just have to follow 2 rules. You can see on the board it says rank 1 hero, rank 2, and if you look right underneath their names, you can see what rank they are. And so that bard has a rank 2 right underneath his name.
Okay, I see him. Yep. Bard rank 2.
Yep. And I didn't know if you hold down Alt and
Yep.
use the scroll wheel.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
what I'm
okay,
doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and there's a recommended setup for beginners, so I'll go ahead and throw that one out there. It just makes the game go faster and it's easier cards to learn.
Okay.
So these 3 are rank 2 heroes. And if you look at the very bottom of the cards, you can see Carry, Feral, Bounty, and
Yep.
you can see a pixel right next to them.
Uh-huh.
For the requirement for this, you need to have 2 of each color represented amongst the 6 heroes. So you can see I already have 1 of each color. Now this here adds a second blue and a second yellow. So now I need to have a second red and a second green.
I'm not sure I follow. What do you need the pixels for?
This is so the game's balanced every time you play, so everybody has the same equal amount of pixels required.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you look at Stance and Elite Guard for Rally, on these two cards, they both have a red on the bottom.
Right.
You have 2 red there. If you look at the Assassin and Seer, you have 2 yellow. Shapeshifter and Elite Guard give you green, and Squire and Seer give you blue.
Okay, I see that now.
So I could swap out this Assassin, and I still need a yellow, so I could put a Blacksmith there.
Okay.
Or, you can mix and match a lot of these. There's currently about 300 different setups just for the heroes alone. And then, so every single card underneath all of these decks are the same cards, as like with most deck builders.
Right.
Then down here for artifacts, you flip these over and just shuffle them up. And then you reveal 2 of each. And these are rare cards that if somebody buys it, it's the only one in the game.
Oh, okay.
But these are expensive to get, and they never help you fight, but they give you new options while you're playing.
Okay.
And that's the setup for the game.
Now, can players know what's like? So right here we have Alira's talisman. Can a player know? Oops. Can a player know the second card underneath at any time?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Any card that is any deck that is face up, you can look through.
Okay.
Yeah, like you couldn't look through this monster deck, but the discard pile you could.
Okay, makes sense.
So then I can just kind of get rid of all these other cards that we don't need. I'll just set them off to the side. These ones here are extra items depending on what heroes are in the game. They come with extra cards.
Right.
And then these ones, as you can see a little blue icon in the upper corner.
Right.
There's 4 arcane cards in the game. This is where those 2 extra heroes come in, is you can only gain these cards if you find a spell that brings them out. And that was the last part I didn't show of the game. Is there are these spells in the game, and you can play these anytime you want in the game, but they all have requirements to them. And every single spell is different. If you look on Promote, you can see it's a gray pixel plus blue, and you can switch a minion with the boss. So gray would just be colorless. So any pixel plus a blue, and you can play that during your turn or during somebody else's.
Okay.
Whereas if you have every single color, you can get a second turn. And these are all just one-time use. You play them then, and then they're trashed.
Right.
And you keep these hidden. So I'll show you what the setup looks like for a player. And these just get shuffled back in there. So the last part to go over is what color you're going to be. Every color has a distinctive playstyle at the beginning and end of the game. There's 4 different war rooms, and depending what color you get is a pixel you'll start with. So green is the most passive player, and they're good at just fighting monsters and not dealing with other players. And they kind of have the quickest rush to victory. Red is the aggressor, and the opposite of green is they're just built to either have more of a luck chance and screw over other players, and they just get more annoying as the game goes on to to steal cards from people.
Right.
Yellow has the best early game where they can buy more expensive cards faster than others, but they lose value towards the end because people don't buy towards the end.
Okay.
Whereas blue is the opposite of yellow, is they have the worst beginning, but the longer the game goes, they can start to replay spells that others have played.
Okay.
And it's purely of which, whenever people start, I let them pick which color they want. Otherwise, I just randomize it.
Okay. I'll just go with like green. I'll play passively.
Okay. All right. And you just place that right over top of where it says place over text.
Okay.
And I'll just flip this over. And I got yellow. And, yep, then you just can lock it into place. You can just press L over top of it, and that'll lock it in, as you don't need to move the war room again. And then we're both going to get a leader card. As I was saying, we're meeting up with the leaders in the war rooms. So you just get your leader of your color, and he's going to look over the battle with you. So you'll get the green one. So you'll have Commander Tross, whereas I have King Mordell.
Alright, so what am I looking at here at the commander? Like, what do I need to know about this card?
Whenever the very first boss is defeated in a game, our leader cards will be added to our deck.
Okay.
So they're more of a booster card. If anybody's behind towards the end, this gives them a huge rush, where they can start collecting pixels quickly, because these are really powerful cards, but you have to wait to use it.
Okay.
and I just leave them off to the side so that whenever uh, when the time comes to collect them, we know that they're gone. Otherwise, you'd see it still sitting there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what you're going to be doing in this game is, I'm sure you're familiar with deck builders like Dominion.
Yeah, yeah. By the way,
Have you ever played?
before we go too far, how many players can play this game?
It plays 2 to 4.
Okay.
And the only difference of depending on players is how many pixels are out on the board over here.
Okay.
So for a 2-player game, there's only 5 of each. So I'll remove. And this is just to stop one person from becoming too strong too quickly.
Right.
And to limit them on what they can do. And it also speeds the game up. Kind of lost count of how many I threw out there. And one more. Yeah.
Yep. There we go. All right. So 5 of each color.
Yes. Yeah, just for a 2-player. In a 3-player, it's 7 of each. Then 4-player, it's just all of them.
Okay.
And in this deck that we have, much like all deck builders, everybody starts with the same 10 cards. There's 7 copper, a sword, shield, and spellbook in here. So the rest I have in here is just more copper. And this is a shuffle your deck, and you'll draw 5 every turn.
Mm-hmm.
And you can choose one of 3 options whenever a card comes. Whenever you play your hand, is you can either buy 1 card on the board, fight 1 monster, or you can trash cards. And you can only ever just do one of those. That way turns are very quick in what you're doing.
So buy, fight, or trash.
Correct.
Okay.
And I do have this little turn order section over here that explains every step you do during a turn.
Okay, there we go. Reveal hand, reset pixels, choose 1 action, spellbook if in play, discard all cards, and spells can be played at any time during the game.
And then this just kind of goes over extra information that if people need to remind themselves.
Right, right.
So then we just add this little baggie here just to see who goes first. So you would. And those just go right back into the bag. That's just to see who goes first.
Okay.
And we both get a pixel from the board of our color. And you're going to place that on the available side of your war room.
On an available side? Is there a difference?
Yeah, so if you look on the available and exhausted.
Oh, I see. I see.
And yeah, that way, as you can see, this shield right here is the green player's benefit card. It only gives you 2 damage, but instead of drawing 5 cards, if you exhaust a green pixel to play Prepare, you can draw 6 cards next turn.
Okay, so in addition to gaining the effect, you can pay a pixel to get an extra effect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, every card, if you, even looking at the board here, amongst these 12, the light section of a card, like this squire here that says 2 damage, 1 health, that part's always free for you. There's no cost. The bottom portion is the ability, much like Carry or Feral. That requires a pixel to activate.
Mm-hmm.
And every time your turn starts, you get to reset all of your pixels. So every time, the goal of this game is you're going to be buying heroes to fight monsters, to collect pixels to boost your heroes, to try and defeat bosses.
Okay.
While people are playing spells to either boost themselves or to hinder others. So it has like a back and forth feel that you may have collected too many pixels and not bought enough heroes to actually raise your numbers up enough
Okay.
for bosses.
So what is our ultimate goal?
To defeat whatever monster is currently in the boss spot, and that would move you up along this track.
Wait, which track am I looking at?
Over.
Oh,
where
I
my
see it over
cursor's
here.
at.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, this is the scoreboard.
All right. So
And you're trying to find, every time a boss is killed, you're given information to find the lost artifact Heaven's Sigil, which is located somewhere on these islands.
Okay.
That's kind of the story behind it. So as you're moving further, you're getting closer and closer to finding it.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
And yeah, turns are very, very simple, especially if you're familiar with deck builders. This is not difficult to pick up at all. Even with deck builders, usually by turn 4, people don't have any more questions.
Yeah. All right. So should we start?
Sure. And so you would go first since we drew the green from the starting bag.
Right.
And this will be my deck, so your deck's over on
Oh, there's my
your
deck
side,
right
and it
here.
always goes, yeah. So you'll shuffle your deck, and then you can just press 5 over top of it.
Okay, and that'll draw 5 cards for me.
Yes, yeah. And it's just whatever number of cards you need to draw. And
Okay.
your green pixel is available.
Okay.
So the first thing you do during your turn is you reveal your whole hand.
All right. Is it hidden right now from you?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's select everything here. All right. So I'll bring my hand out.
Yeah, so if you look here, you have a total of, you have 4 copper, and this portion of the card is free. So you have 4 treasure to spend, and then you also just have 0 damage and 2 health.
Okay.
Just to show you how simple fighting is, let's say these 2 heroes were in your hand. In the same hand, you just add, you total up the red and green, so you have a total of 5 damage and 5 health.
Okay.
If you want to fight something, this just says these are the numbers you need to have to kill it. If you have at least 5 damage and 5 health, you can defeat this sea serpent.
The bottom number.
Yes. Yeah, because minions, you always fight lower numbers. Boss, you fight the higher.
Oh, okay. All right. That's how they're tougher. Okay.
Yes. So you wouldn't be able to beat this because you would need at least 2 damage and 6 health.
Okay.
So you're not doing damage versus health. This is just saying if you have these numbers, this thing will die.
Oh, okay. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, that way green cards are related to health and red are related to red. So you would have needed 1 more health to beat that Grawl Summoner. So
Okay.
anything rank 2 and 3, you can usually accomplish with just 2 heroes. They range, monsters range from rank 1 to 5. 5 are very difficult to kill.
Right.
So you definitely can't beat anything with just your shield, but you have 4 treasure to spend.
All right. So I could probably get one of these hero. Well, this squire costs 2. Shapeshifter's 4. If I'm reading that right. I'm looking at the upper left-hand corner for the cost.
Yes. Yeah, they always range in price increase from left to right on both rows.
Okay. It looks like it might be. I could get a silver for 3. Or I could get just 2 squires, right? Can I buy as
No,
many cards
it's
as I
just,
want, or just 1 card per turn?
Just 1 per turn. Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah,
then
this is to stop yellow from having too good of an early game.
yeah. So when I play this, it gives me 2 health. I mean 2 damage and 3 health. It's probably the best thing to get, though. Getting a silver is probably nice too.
Yeah, both are solid choices.
And now I know I think you went over this, but when I kill a monster, I get what? I get a pixel of that color.
Yes. Yeah, so
Okay.
if you defeat this, it would give a green. Serpent would give a blue, whereas this would give you points plus yellow
Okay.
because it's currently the boss.
Okay. Where? Shapeshifter or an assassin? Not sure what to get. I think for now, I'm just gonna go simple, and I'm just gonna buy a silver.
All right.
And I'm assuming it goes into my discard pile.
Correct. And then any remaining abilities you can play. You can play them no matter what you're doing. So even if you don't use your shield, you can still play the ability.
Right. I mean, but right now it doesn't do anything for me, right?
It will, because
mean-
if you put that there to say, some people put them on the card, some just exhaust it and will ping the card to say, I'm playing prepare. So next turn, instead of drawing 5, you'll draw 6.
Oh yeah. But then I have to spend the little green for it, right?
Correct. And this will reset next turn.
Oh, okay. So
Every
I might as well do
yeah.
that. I might as well do that.
Yeah,
So I'll
you always want to
prepare.
play them unless there's reasons, which we'll get into later.
Okay, so I prepare, and I'm gonna draw 6 next round.
Yes. So then
Okay.
you'll discard your hand since you bought, and there's nothing left to play.
I don't know the easy way to group them together.
The easiest way I found is to highlight them and then hover over your discard pile and press G, and it brings them all to there.
Okay, there we
I just
go.
learned that one recently.
All right, and then I'll draw 6 cards here, but I only have 5. So I'll
Yes.
get that, and then flip this over, if I remember how to do that. Shuffle that, and then I'll draw 1 into my hand.
Correct. Yeah, and green has the Since you can draw extra cards, that's where buying heroes can give you a benefit of you have far more likely chance of drawing more of them than everyone else.
Right.
Along with you can burn through your deck quicker in rotation than we can. So once you draw your next hand, then you can just end your turn,
Okay.
and then it would go to my turn. Alright, so benefit of yellow is they can boost up any treasure in the game. So instead of having 4 treasure, I can have 5, but there's not a single card in the game that costs 5. This is to make sure players buy to what helps them as opposed to whatever number they have. Because originally we had heroes that went 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and no matter what money they had, they always bought whatever the cost was. Whereas this lets them choose what styles they want to play.
Right.
Because just them getting one more number increase wasn't really making a difference. And you can see this spellbook card here. This is a very unique card in the game. It even has its own little section in that turn order. It says you're able to buy a spell for 3 treasure. And if you look up here in this, the turn order,
Right.
it says you can gain spells no matter what action you're doing of either buying a card, fighting a monster, or trashing. That does not count as an action. So what I could do is I could boost this up to 5, spend 2, 3 of my treasure on a spell, and then the remaining 2 I have left over on a squire. So because spells count as a separate, but I don't want any of those just yet. I do just want to buy an assassin. And whenever you gain spells, you keep them hidden in these little areas. As you can see, I can't see yours, I can see mine. And you play those anytime you want as long as you have the pixels. So since I bought a card, I'm not using my pixel for anything, so I'll discard these, draw my next hand of 5, and end my turn.
Okay. So first thing I need to do is reveal my hand. Put all that, and now I have something new here. I have a sword, so that gives me 2 attack, and I can pay a red if I had it to strike. Play a random card from an opponent's hand, and then return the card. Now, I missed something. Was I supposed to bring this back?
Yes. Yeah, after you reveal your hand, you can reset all of your pixels.
Okay. I also have my spellbook, able to buy a spell for 3 treasure. Instead, gain the buff spell for free. Ooh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you can see blue gets spells for free along with whatever else they're doing. But they get no advantages of drawing extra cards or...
Okay, so right now I really only have basically 1, 2, 3, 4 gold to spend. And I probably will just get an assassin also. Let's do that. Here's my discard pile. So we'll put this guy there. And then I could play this, but
so
really
for this you would need the red. And right now you only have a green pixel.
I could technically play it just for the red and green, but it doesn't give me anything, right? I mean, it won't let me defeat anything, right?
Correct. And if you buy a card, you can't fight.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then makes sense. All right. So we'll go like that, and G. There we go. All right, I learned.
Nice and smooth.
and then draw 5 cards. All right, done with the turn. Now I'm assuming, like most deck building games, we don't shuffle our discard pile until we're supposed to draw a card or anything like that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll start to get cards later that allow you to draw more, and you have to wait till you need to draw before you reshuffle.
Right.
And yep, then you'll just end turn.
Okay.
I guess we don't even really need that on, since we just kind of know when one person's done or the other. So I can just disable that. All right, so I'll draw my hand.
But it's kind of nice you have that. I like that. I didn't know that was a feature in Tabletop Simulator. Now,
it's really good for
while we're at it, just so people to know that this is actually the Tabletop Simulator version is just to try it out. Like the Kickstarter is going to be for a full manufactured tabletop paper version, right?
Correct. Yeah, it'll have all the components that are seen here. 18 or 20 different heroes, 16 different artifacts, 40 monsters, 40 spells. There's about 350 cards in the game. There's a health and damage tracker as opposed to these little digital ones that we have here to keep track. If you start getting big numbers and it's difficult to remember everything.
Right.
I added these in here. Yep, and then it comes with all these different war rooms and everything in there.
Sounds cool. All right, so let's play like a couple more turns here. I'd like to see if we can get to kill a boss here and try to show how we progress through the game.
All right. So I'm just going to keep this simple as I have 3 treasures. So I'm going to buy silver, because silver, if I play yellow pixel and instead of giving me 2 treasure, it gives me 4.
Okay.
And I'll just reshuffle and draw my next hand, and you can go ahead.
Okay. So I'll reveal everything. I think I'm just buying. Let's see. I have 2, 3, 4, 5. But you did say nothing costs 5.
And you can only ever gain spells if you have the spell book in your hand.
Yeah, right.
So you don't have it right now.
So let's see here. Man, I'd like to get some gold over here, but I think I'm just gonna stay simple and probably just buy more. Well, 5. Be kind of a waste to spend it just on silver. We'll just buy another assassin, I guess. Well, actually, hold on. I think I want to get. How much does this guy cost? Oh, this guy costs 6. I'm gonna buy the shapeshifter here because I can use this pharaoh. This hero gains +3 damage. Yeah, I'll get this guy. Costs 4. I have 1 left over, but I can't do anything with that, so that'll be it. Well, I could still do this, right? I could still do the prepare on my shield.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. I'm spending that, and I prepare, so that means I'm gonna draw 6 cards. And we'll discard everything. And we gotta draw new ones, but we gotta shuffle. Put that there, and then draw 6. Alright. My turn is done.
Alrighty, so I have 3 treasure, and I have 2 damage and 5 health. So I'll even show you up here. Just to keep it simple, those are my numbers. But I can play the Assassin's ability. By exhausting a yellow pixel, it says, during a fight action, I can trash one of my treasure cards and turn that into damage or health. So I'm going to turn that 1 copper into 1 health.
Okay, it's either or. Okay.
Yeah. You can see assassins are nice because I'm getting rid of copper, so I'm thinning my deck down to just better cards.
Right.
But eventually they run out of use. So buying several of them, if somebody buys 4, very quickly all 4 assassins won't have anything to do at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So now I have 2 and 6, so I can actually defeat this Scrawl Summoner. There was no way for me to reach to defeat that serpent. So whenever you go to fight something, you're stuck in this location. So if anyone were to play spells to make this monster too strong to defeat, I would just end my turn. There's no penalties other than you don't get to do anything.
Okay.
So you don't have any spells, so I know you can't play anything against me, so this will be defeated. These both move down, and the next monster comes out. And I defeated a green, so now I get a green pixel.
Okay.
Anytime you gain them, they're exhausted.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Or otherwise, it could snowball out of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then I'll just, since I fought, I cannot buy. I'll discard that and draw my next stand of 5.
Okay, so now let's sort of jump ahead a little. Let's say you had defeated a boss. So let's say in a future turn you defeat this boss here. What happens at that point? Let's say this Djiran Grunt.
Yep.
Say you defeat this guy, right, in a future turn. What happens?
So if this one were to be defeated, let's say you defeated it. You're the green player, so you would move up 2 points. You would get a red pixel.
All right, hold on a second.
And it would
so
be...
So
Sure.
I'm... Okay, so moving... Well, I'm getting red because it's red, but I'm moving 2 spaces because it's a rank 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if this was any other rank, that would be the points you would get.
Now, I don't know if you mentioned... Are these rank... is this set up in any order, or is it possible that we can get like a rank 5 coming out right near the beginning?
You could. The only catch is the first 3 monsters you set up, none of them can be 5, and only 1 can be 4.
Okay.
Yeah, this is to stop early game of people just being stuck, not being able to do anything.
Okay. So then I moved up 2 there. All right.
Correct.
And when I get to 10, is it first player to 10?
Yeah, whoever gets to 10 first, then everybody has the same amount of turns. So if that was the last person to go, the game would end there.
Right.
But everybody has. So if since you went first, I would still have one more turn. And if I was at 7, and yeah, let's just say for example you were at 10, I was at 7, and I just defeated a rank 3, and I got to 10 with you.
Hmm.
Whoever has the most pixels, along with every artifact you own, which are these cards here. So whoever owns the most of all of those is the winner.
Okay, so pixels and artifacts are the tiebreakers essentially.
Yes. Yeah, and I did run into one game where we ran out of monsters, and me and somebody else tied at 10 points, and we both had 10 pixels and 2 artifacts each. And that was just, I didn't know what else to call it other than just a tie.
Okay. Well, I think that's pretty good. I think we definitely got I think we got the gist of it. I mean, anybody that's played a deck builder can definitely jump into this. I can see that. I mean, it's, overall basic deck builder mechanics as far as the cards in hand and, like playing them. So nobody has to learn to do that. They just got to learn like what the different cards do, and I do like I do like the pixel art. I like the fighting the monsters, and you gotta beat the boss, and kind of, in a good way, this reminds me of Munchkin, the little level track here or the journey track. I'm not sure what you call it, but that's pretty neat. Is there anything else that you want people to know?
Yeah. Even the spells were the idea of the curses in Munchkin, but whenever they drag out the game, if somebody says, well, if you do this, I'm going to play this against you, I wanted them to have requirements to even play them. So if you don't have the pixels to play Fear to make someone discard their leader, you can't even question it. You're like, well, I can't play it, so I can't stop you.
Yeah.
So that
cool.
was where...
I really like the icons on the spells and all that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, each one lights up depending what pixels you use. So you can see like a little targeter for the red.
See that, the green,
this one has
the red.
the shield.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. I really like that. A little detail there.
And then just to show you kind of what these artifacts do is, let's say I got up to 9 treasure and bought the Dwarven Stone, and let's just say I'll put this card back, and this was in a future hand of mine. Artifacts are really, really strong, but you'll see they never actually help you win, because they're never giving you numbers to fight. So if this came into play, I get an additional card. I can now buy 2 things during a turn, and it gives me 6 more treasure.
Wow.
So if I happen to have 2 yellow pixels, I could then play Riches, where every treasure card I have, I get to draw an extra card. So I would then get to draw 3 more because I have 3 copper. And then I would reshuffle this to draw my last one. So now I have, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to buy 2 cards.
Right.
So this is where yellow can get really early games of buying an elite guard and a seer in one turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, like most deck building games, you kind of sort of building an engine as you go along.
Yes. Yeah, and anyone can really build how they want to. Is yellow can just focus on these little early on guys if they want to. It's just a matter of what pixels you get. You need to kind of build to your to what works best for you. And the one since you saw buying and fighting, the other mechanic I didn't show is trashing. Trashing is very simple. Let's say I had this hand. Every pixel you exhaust is a card you could trash. So I exhausted 3, so I can trash 3 cards.
Okay.
And that's so early on you can really only trash 1 card, and it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start getting 2 or 3, you start getting more value. And
yeah,
well,
especially sometimes
there's
going to be times you're not going to be able to use a pixel of a given color, so it might be worth you just using it to trash or whatever.
Yeah, and they don't need to match colors. It's purely just using pixels to trash cards.
Right. All right.
Outside of that, the one hidden thing, I can load up the other visual real quick if you're interested in seeing it.
Sure.
Is the visual layout of the game. Using pixels to trash, I went and load it in for you.
Okay, it's all loaded, I think, for me.
All right. If you actually look at these are all the heroes, and this is every card in the game outside of the spells because they kind of have the same artwork. But these are actually full levels of 8-bit side-scrollers, going from heroes in the cities all the way over to the monsters that are corrupted.
Okay.
And each one kind of fits that thematic playstyle of 8-bit games of the early Greenlands, then you go to the desert, then you go to the volcanoes along with the underwater
Oh, okay,
levels.
I see. Yeah. Okay. And then on the water. Oh, cool. All right, I didn't pick up on that before.
Yeah,
That's pretty
it's
cool.
a hidden detail. It's just full of little small
Oh, I
references
really like
throughout the
the
game that
pixel art.
people
It's really
pick
cool.
up.
I mean, I've
And
seen it tried
um,
on tabletop games before, and sometimes it doesn't come across really well. But this is really nice. I like this.
oh, thanks. And every card has little references in them of either they're pointing to something else in the game or they point to other games themselves. So um, a simple one is if you look over on the board where those pixels were laid out, these are the swamplands.
Yeah.
And if you look right in this little area here, you can see Mega Man is there, jumping with the little pellets shooting out.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I don't know
I
if
see
you
it
can see
now.
him.
Took a moment, but yeah, I can see him.
Yeah, he's hard to, like, he's kind of hidden there. Whereas if you look over where the city of Havenfall was, the island's in the shape of Pac-Man.
Okay. Yep. That's
Yep.
a simple one.
And
So some
uh,
lots of
even
pretty-
just, so then if you start looking at cards here, this Necromancer card, you can see he's next to a water wheel. And then
Uh-huh.
if you just look right here on Trin Creek, is you can see that very building right next to him. So
Oh,
every
okay.
single location on this board is on cards themselves.
Oh, okay. So
So,
getting
like,
like
all the,
overview, and then you can get like a side view of it here.
Yep. Yeah, so you kind of know, almost like games where you're about to go into Bowser's Castle or something like that, you can see the levels built out right there.
Okay. Yeah, and I did notice like the
And,
volcano
yeah.
here, and you can see the volcano in some of the other cards. So very
Yes.
cool.
What was the other part? There's something. Yeah, even if you look at the wizard card, right next to him is that mausoleum. And if you look on the left side of it, you can actually see Tetris on there with the little blocks
minute.
falling down.
On the left side. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like half the cards have little references to nods to games. Like the fish is the Cheep Cheep, but I designed it to look like Dory.
Yep. Yep. That's Dory.
And yep, it's funny because either people will point out that looks like Dory or that looks like a Cheep Cheep. They never put both together.
Right.
And yeah, then every single artifact is referenced somewhere else in the game. So this sea serpent is the same one on the Tome of Serpents, but the Tome of Serpents is shaped like the Mortal Kombat logo.
Yep. Oh, that's just so cool. I really like stuff like that, little
Yeah, it
references
was just-
here and there.
Yeah, and once I like point that out to some people, they're like, okay, well now I'm just gonna look through the rest of this and see what secrets I can find.
Yeah. Oh man, very cool. I'm very excited to play. I want to play the physical version because I really like tabletop games. So I'm actually not a huge fan of tabletop simulator. It's really cool and it's nice to play, but I really like something like this especially. I would really love to just get my hands in the physical copy. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to the Kickstarter. I think everybody should definitely give this a look. You don't have a set date yet, right?
No,
No.
originally we did have a set date in August, but it was just once we got a new quote from a manufacturer.
Yeah, things change. Things change like that.
It was just,
No,
yeah, things changed.
do
So
you do have a preview link, right? Or not yet?
for the Kickstarter, no,
Yes.
we do have the Kickstarter video up on YouTube. If you just search Havenfall, you'll see the overview video, which is about 13 minutes long,
Okay.
going over how the game plays and seeing the game in action. And then we have a 2-minute video for the Kickstarter.
All right, sounds good. So down in the description box, I'm gonna put links to all of that, so that when people watch this video, they can go ahead and click down there and follow this, because I want to make sure that they know where they can go to get this, because this looks really cool. I'm very excited to see this. I think this is gonna be. I think you're gonna have a success here. Just right off the bat.
Thank you.
I think you're gonna have. You've been putting in the work. You've been doing your due diligence. You're not rushing this. Like, this game definitely looks like it's not been rushed, and it looks cool. It's a deck builder, but it's got some unique aspects to it. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this, and I think our viewers are gonna be excited to try this out. So I think unless you have anything else, I think that'll be it for now.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you so
Thanks,
much
thanks
for
for your
taking the
time.
time. Yeah, no, well, thank you for the time for showing this to us. And guys, if you like what you see here, and I think you do, go ahead and check it out. Links will be down at the bottom. Guys, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you soon.